Hey y'all, it's me Genevieve, Lace in Space, Constellations on LSD. Thanks for tuning in. Could have been anyone else. Excited to be here with me. So always want to show gratitude, always want to show appreciation. Now I wanted to talk about a placement that I want to extend to the collective. And that's having Mars in water. So if you have Mars in Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, especially as a woman, I want to extend this to you and hope this gives you like some sort of understanding of the placement, but also closure. Now, when you have Mars in water as a woman, and because Mars is already a little uncomfortable in water, so it's fall in water. So since it's fall in water, there is a sense of tranquility and needing to work on your nervous system that is important. You easily take yourself over edge. And with you already being a feminine energy or associated with the feminine energy and having to battle with this Mars, it's like you're trying to find that resilience and that dominance, but you also know how sensitive you are. Now, why is this also like even more of a tricky placement? Because it can show a lot of like chaos or turmoil underneath, like in the household. And just with having Mars and water in general, it'll be very difficult for you to have roommates, for you to live with like even family members, and for you to even live with your own partner. So if you have Mars in water, Scorpio, Cancer, Piscean, and you find that there's just always a territorial thing going on with who's underneath your roof, or who's sharing this personal space with you, it's because you literally need to have the master of everything, the master bedroom, the master bathroom, the master kitchen. Like it would be best that you live in like a 2-family situation, or where everyone has like their separate entrance, because you are very territorial of your privacy and your personal space. And you are also can be extremely emotional when you're in your corridors, when you're in your area, that it can be overwhelming for other people to really even live with you. And you can also feel like you're really not allowed to share your sensitivities or to express your sensitivities because of how extreme it can get. Also with having Mars and water, especially as a woman, you might even work from home. So you might have like 2 personalities or 2 positions in the home where you're like a nurturer and a parent and a giver, like in that area, like you're in that element, but you're also an entrepreneur. You're also the head of some sort of company. As a Mars and water woman, you will be the head of household in some capacity. So you're going to have to understand that you need a man and you need a partner, especially if you're in a heterosexual relationship. You need a man and a partner. This connected to my last video. Like you need a man and a partner, especially if they're operating like these masculine spaces, because I know relationships can vary on what the partnerships are. But if you're with a traditional masculine male partner who's operating in traditional masculine roles, he can find your Mars and water extremely overbearing. He could find it domineering. Because you're here to find power in your sensitivity, and you lead with your sensitivity. This is a strong women empowerment placement for women. So like even in men, if they have Mars and water, they might find that they have to come to some terms in their own life where they are an ally to women, an ally. They might even have daughters, like more of a daughters or feminine energy in their life that they're connected to. So and they're also very sensitive men. And they're also going to be asked, how they live underneath the roof with their partnerships as well, and how they're able to, and how will their partner be able to deal with their moodiness. And that can be for watermen in general. But Mars and water, I just want to really share that this is a very sensitive placement, that you're going to need someone who's really patient and aware of where, you have unsettled waters, where the waters could get pretty shaky for you. That's why the reason why it's exalted in an earth sign is because earth energy, and most planets are going to be exalted in earth signs, because earth is able to compartmentalize their feelings, put it somewhere, and just be able to deal with what's happening on hand and keep calm, cool, and collective type of energy. Water doesn't do that. Water is sensitive to the motions of people. sensitive. They're trying to even understand what's not being said, the elephant in the room. So if you have Mars in water, don't think that anything is wrong with you, or that you're unlovable, or you won't be able to cohabitate with other people. You just have to be aware of the fact that you are a very emotional person, that you can drown in your feelings, and that at times you need that sense of privacy, and that you are also a woman's empowerment placement, and you're going to need someone that respects your sensitivity and doesn't looking at it as a weakness or a crutch. You also will be working from home, so you're going to need your family and your counterparts to understand that you are trying to you are bringing in your ambitions and your career and your willpower that can be an external energy underneath the roof of your home, and how they need to respect that and learn how to separate. Even add on Mars and water, and they need to be able to separate that. And even just specifically separating them. If you have a Mars in Cancer, you embody all these things. If you have a Mars in Scorpio, and just even going back to Mars in Cancer, just like I was spoken before about cardinal energy, Mars in Cancer can really want to change the narrative of the families that they've come from. Cardinal energies are doing things that they've never done before. They are first generation in many ways. Just with having personal placements in cardinal, you're going to be the first and only in certain capacities to do certain things in your relationship. So living with a man, living with people, owning a home can be such like big things, like things that these placements don't have. Working from home, starting a business, can be things that Mars and Cancer, they're the first in their family to do it, so they don't really have like role models. And a lot of cardinals can feel that way. They don't really have role models. So they just feel like they're winged in some capacity. Mars and Scorpio. If you have Mars and Scorpio, you've seen some pretty shady things happen when it comes to lovers. You maybe have seen parents who had money issues. Maybe you've seen parents who had commitment and fidelity issues, where you didn't always see that it was an equal sharing thing going on, where both parents equally had each other's back. So you may be very distrustful of the opposite sex. You may struggle to share money with them. You may struggle to share space with them every day, or every so often. You may question how authentic the relationship is, which can cause a lot of trouble underneath the roof. If you have Mars in Piscean, you could have felt that within partnerships, you saw a lot of avoidance, aloofness, detachment. Maybe you never saw a parent. Maybe you never even saw your parents underneath one roof together. Like you never saw that kind of consistency. So now there's always this questioning of when you're going to get the rug pulled from underneath you. You'll even feel like certain types of emotions can blindside you, where you're like, I don't even know why I'm feeling this way. It just came out of nowhere. And it could be extremely like emotional for you, sensitive for you. Waterworks are easily for these signs, moodiness. And it can be hard for you to like live with other people, because they may feel like as a Piscean energy, Mars in Pisces, or even Pisces in general, you bring up things out of nowhere, or you conjure things up in your mind that aren't real. Even though you feel something intuitively, you have a strong sense of knowing before it happens. Piscean is a very psychic sign. They just have to know how to articulate it back to being in, and make it more practical, back to its polarity being in Earth. So for all water signs, their polarity is in an Earth sign, because that's where they're going to find their ground.